Meanwhile, there's increasing concern in Europe that a massive military buildup along Russia's border with Ukraine could lead to a conflict. Vladimir Putin today delivered his annual State of the Nation address, saying Russia will respond in a harsh way to provocations from foreign powers. Russia Research Fellow at the Institute for the Study of War, Nataliya Bugayova, joins us from Washington, D.C. Nataliya, lovely to have you on the program. We just heard from Vladimir Putin earlier tonight saying that Russia will respond in a harsh way to provocations against countries that cross red lines. Who is that aimed at, do you think?
Yes, thank you. I think the Putin's rhetoric, as well as the recent military buildup on Ukraine's border, is set not to achieve some short-term gains, but it's actually about a set of larger objectives. First and foremost, I think Putin intends to shift the status quo in his campaign in Ukraine, where Russia has been trying to manipulate Ukraine into Russia's version of peace. So the build-out is actually intended to pressure Ukraine into political concessions and probably set a pretext to legitimize Russia's permanent military presence. I think, secondly, it is also intended to support two other objectives. First is to shift the power dynamics with Europe, especially ahead of the German elections in the fall. And secondly, to assert Russia with the new U.S. administration, especially in the context of also European elections, but also that's why Putin is on one side escalating militarily, and on the other side he's stating he will join Biden's climate summit. I think it's also finally really important to note that both the rhetoric that we heard from Vladimir Putin today, as well as the military build-out, is supporting a long-standing objective of coherent military capabilities in the former Soviet Union as well.
So just let me take you back to your point that you don't necessarily believe that there will be an invasion or an further attempt to annex further territory. You feel this is just grandstanding to a degree.
I think the immediate goal is to pressure Ukraine and Europe into Russia's version of peace politically. That said, I think if the pressure campaign does not work, Russia can go for more dangerous scenarios, and we're actually seeing conditions being set for more substantial military action. I think the three directions we're watching in particular: one, on the east, in the east of Ukraine; secondly, the build-out in the Black Sea; and third, Russia has gained control over essentially Belarus and Belarusian military forces over the past year. So I think there is an increasing danger of the military pressure from that side as well. So I think it is fair to say that the attack is not imminent. However, the recent build-out is a part of much larger reposturing that the Kremlin is conducting.
Ukraine President Zelensky has tried to push for meetings. Is Russia likely to agree to any face-to-face discussions over this?
I think Putin's goal in Ukraine is not peace, it's dominance. And Putin has consistently declined opportunities to meet with Zelensky, especially in bilateral setting. Therefore, I think the overall campaign is intended to pressure Ukraine into legitimizing Russia's proxies, Russia's military presence in Ukraine, and introduction of potentially of peacekeepers or other forms, because once again, the long-term goal is not peace, it's control.
Let's talk about the US's role. As you pointed out, the new US administration has really put Putin on notice. They did, though, pull back from sending vessels into the Black Sea and carrying out exercises. So was that a wise decision to just pull back at this point?
I think, first of all, U.S. and NATO expressed firm commitment to Ukraine at the beginning of the recent escalation, which I think is the right signal to send because it limits Russia's opportunities in the information space to blame Ukraine for the recent wave of the escalation. I do think that NATO's or UK's reported efforts to potentially send warships to the Black Sea is also a good signal, but I also understand the caution on behalf of the United States not to engage in the Black Sea in this particular moment of time.
Yeah. Kiev, though, we understand, we're hearing reports just today that they have, in fact, asked the White House for further military weaponry support. Do you think that would be considered by the US administration?
I think it would be considered in a part of the broader package of expanding Ukraine's military capabilities that U.S. has been actually pursuing over the past several years. And, if we compare the situation now to 2014, both Ukraine military is a lot more capable, as well as the Western support of Ukraine, as well as the Western understanding of Russia's intent and Russia's capabilities. So yes, I think U.S. will continue to enhance Ukraine's military capabilities going forward.
Yeah, very tricky situation developing. Thank you very much, Nataliya, for your time.
Thank you.